All right, I think we're good. Welcome back to another one of these things where we just kind of talk about whatever's kind of on our mind. Um, Today, I guess, yeah, hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Because it is indeed Tuesday. It feels like Wednesday. I don't know why I'm like always a day behind recently. It's always like whatever today is, it feels like the day after it to me for some reason right now. I'm not sure if it was just because I just shaved. Like I look like my eyes are very, very shadowy. I don't know. My eyes are popping out. Not literally, but you know what I mean. They seem accentuated right now. Hey, it's a good thing. Certainly not gonna be able to replicate that forever or anything. But anyway, hope your Tuesday's going great. Mine's been decent. Getting stuff done at the old job, and just sort of chilling. Kind of talking a bit about yesterday is like when to kind of follow inspiration. One of the things that like you can that I've like often been I've seen others do and seen others talk about is just being able to share ideas with other people just to see if it's something that makes sense. Like I've definitely heard this mentality from people who are building like products or want to start a business. They're not looking to get people to like start the business with them, but they're like, "Hey, does this sound even remotely feasible or like something people would use? Am I about to make a really stupid decision?" So I'm doing that today. I'm talking with one of my friends who's also in tech to see if she thinks that I've got like at least a sensible starting point that what I'm doing is possible or wanting to do is possible. So I want to make a pretty big decision about, what I'm going to be working on for the next year or so. I probably want to at least make sure there's some sort of goal on the other side that makes sense. And I'm okay with my API and data and web kind of dev things and architecture and like deploying to having like a cloud platform, but I have absolutely no experience in mobile app development, which she does. So I'm hoping that she'll be able to fill in the gaps in my brain, and at least tell me it's like, yeah, all that is possible. You're probably gonna want to think about X, Y, Z, and before you jump into it. But yeah, so at that kind of phase right now, bouncing ideas, seeing what we're gonna want to do. Anyway, the thing I really want to talk about though today is I don't know if anybody else gets a little frustrated when they go looking for a snack and they open up a cabinet and they're like, why is that thing named the way it is? And I had one of those moments probably not even half an hour ago. I was just I think I was grabbing a tortilla chip, and I had also found or remembered that there was a bag of these things here, um, Oyster crackers. Not a sponsor. On the in my cabinet, and I don't know how many people like going to their cabinet and then feeling like they have an unanswered question that that needs resolving. And I think maybe I had this before with the red berries thing, so maybe it's just food that makes me think this way. That's just sort of like, okay, I came here for sustenance, and I came here craving more knowledge. So I have no idea why they're called oyster crackers. I figured it was because they looked like oysters, and it's not really true. Like these kinds are, I actually thought they were the other kind that I'm familiar with. There are two shapes of oyster crackers in my little bit of research prior to this video, but I guess these are the older ones. They're very round. They've got, yeah, we're not going to get a good. Can we focus on the cracker? Can I get it in front of my face enough for it to focus? It's just going to be a very blurry cracker. Yeah. Just a very blurry cracker. Okay, we're not going to worry about that. It's not very important. But the ones that I'm familiar with, the ones that I always saw or remember when I was growing up, were in like this like blue and white bag. I can't remember what brand it would be, but they were all, I believe, hexagon shapes. They're six-sided, yeah, six-sided crackers. So still like roughly this texture, just it was shaped like a hexagon. And I'm like if there's two different shapes, then clearly they're not like named after an oyster, and they're not really, like, maybe they're very remotely shaped like an oyster. I don't know, some sort of bivalve, but it's not what I think about when I'm thinking of an oyster. Anyway, it turns out that like, I'm used to seeing these things in soup, and in the United States, that's definitely what we use them for. It's a saltine cracker. It's a very lightly salted saltine cracker. So like a saltine cracker will have a lot more salt content. And these things, they're just meant to like absorb like a lot of broth, so they'll get a good flavor from absorbing what they're floating in. And that is actually where that came from. The oyster cracker was initially used in England with, I believe, oyster chowder. That was when these crackers were used for those. So it was still in a stew-like dish, and likely still playing the same part where it's just absorbing a bit of the flavor of the environment that it is around, but not really named for, it's not really shaped for the thing that it's named after. It's named for the thing that it was primarily used in. And to do a little bit of reading, that the oyster cracker was actually like invented by the family of folks that invented a way to not need crackers to be hand rolled. So like I'd like already put this up here and it didn't like show, but you'll see like it's not like a square or very rigid. It's got like these almost like pizza puff type. I don't know if I can get that to focus. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's focusing on my thumb. Yeah, awesome. But they have like these little folds in them, which would have been hand rolled, and this bakery put together a machine so that they don't have to hand roll crackers anymore. So that made this kind of thing a lot easier to accomplish. So that's where the cracker comes from. These days, the United States likes to use them as an alternative to other saltine crackers for soup. You'll notice that on the side of this here thing, it's like soup and oyster crackers. That we still like to use them for soup. And the reason I have these is because we had chili over the weekend, and that's actually a little bit less of a normal thing. Like when I came over here, it was like Philadelphia, New England area. They like to use oyster crackers in soup, and that kind of like spread across the United States. But when it comes to chili, like it seemed to like really start coming out of Ohio for some reason. I guess their chili scene is pretty good. I work with some people from Ohio, and they do really, really like their spices. So that's not terribly surprising hearing that chilies coming out of Ohio would be distinctively hot, and having anything that you can put into that chili to kind of cool it off, because that's what'll happen. It's just dispersing all of the all of the ingredients amongst a wider surface area. So it's not just like this dump of the highly concentrated chili, but it's being diluted by the crackers and being absorbed by the crackers. So that kind of makes sense. So I don't know who needed to know that today, but it was bothering me when I went to go reach for a tortilla chip and was like, why are oyster crackers oyster crackers? And here we are. So I hope this was a very helpful video to at least one other person who happens across this. And if there's two, then wow, okay, we're reaching for the stars now, everyone. Better hold on to your pants. But that's really ultimately the only thing I needed to share today. Everything else was extra. This was the reason I woke up today. So this is out there now. People know. Now you know. And if people are like, where'd oyster crackers come from? You can get a little bit of a history lesson by tuning in here. So feel free to share it around if you're ever just like, yeah, you know what, oyster crackers. Yeah, this is very interesting. Go ahead and share this probably very poorly put together, unedited video, and bore the heck out of your friends and family or your enemies. You can send me to your enemies. That's fine too. I really don't mind. This is just very important information that needs sharing. Anyway, thanks for tuning in today for whatever this is. And I hope you're having a great Tuesday and continue that wave, ride that wave into Wednesday. And we will catch you in the next one. See ya.